Hello, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Thank you for attending. This is the presentation name is The Best Kept Secret by the US Government. 5% down VA foreclosures for real estate investors. Welcome, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. And just to share with you, uh, I'm pretty much a good person to talk about this topic because I happen to be a U.S. Army retiree, so that'll give me another uh, credible source. So been there, done that. All right. So anyway, the best kept secret by the U.S. government: 5% down via foreclosure property for investors. All right. So let's proceed. So current conditions of the real estate market as we move into 2019, we've been seeing over the past number of years, multiple offers on homes, causing prices of homes bid at above asking price all over the country, not just California. And people with all cash offers often went out versus finance buyers. Even qualified buyers with 20% down or more cannot compete against deep pocket foreign investors, and as well as Wall Street hedge funds entering the rental property market space. So single family homes are the most attractive asset class according to Warren Buffett. High cash flow and historical low interest rate create a strong demand for homes. Historic increases of the national rental population pool makes for a strong investment value play. As a real estate investor, how can we compete against all the above factors? Well, redirect your attention to VA foreclosures. Why is this the best kept secret? Most investors are unaware of this particular real estate investment niche because it is not a well promoted program. The government, the VA, Veteran Administration, does not promote it, and the mass media is not privileged with the access to the available information with respect to the VA foreclosures. What are the VA foreclosures? They are owner-occupied homes purchased by U.S. military veterans through the Department of Veteran Affairs. They were purchased using 0% down payment by the veterans, active duty, and others, retirees, for example, all over the country. This program has been available for many, many decades, and for a good reason, because the U.S. government are rewarding the military veterans for their service, and one of the rewards they are getting is the able to purchase uh, owner-occupied homes with 0% down instead of a higher down payment. So why are VA foreclosures are available in the marketplace? Because U.S. service members who are on active duty or veterans are also go through a financial crisis, right? They lose their job. They you know they go through a divorce. They go through they have a medical situation where they're unable to earn a paycheck, or they just mismanage their money. Typical people that they have some gone through a financial crisis, and they, as a result, some of those service members they let their houses go. They walked away from the houses, and the VA department subsequently will take the property back and put it in back in the system, and then subsequently they will release these foreclosed homes in a particular area. And now that we have the Vendy financing via foreclosures available for the general public, it is available to the general public for bidding, right? You have to bid for it. It's out there. So uh, historically, VA foreclosures are available from time to time, and just it's just that in the past 8 years, it was not available. They just reinstated the program. Lucky for us, right? I was able to to offer this program back in 8 years ago until it was abruptly ended by the VA Department of Veteran Affairs. So at that time, 8 years ago, around 8 years ago, I forgot exact date, but for the past 8 years, up until now, this program has been restored. As we move in the middle of 2019, this program has been reinitiated a mere few months ago. So because I'm an expert in this area and I have unique connections and past experience, I'm able to bring this program back for our real estate investors. For those of you who are lucky enough to be in my membership, in my database. So good for you. Right now is the greatest time in history to take advantage of this unique VA foreclosure program. VA homes are available in all 50 states. However, all the foreclosed homes are not created equal, right? Is all about the location, right? Where you buy. So we'll talk about that. So buy where there's more available inventory, where most veterans and service members reside. Buy where there is a heavy concentration of military bases, whether it's Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marines. Buy where the locations are conducive to purchase, such as a growing local economy, high concentration of potential renters, population growth, economy, industry, all those things, right? And that will allow for potential appreciation and good cash flow. So my top markets for VA foreclosures are not necessarily in order, is not necessarily chronologically, but one of my favorite has to be Central Florida, right? Orlando Metro, even in Jacksonville, and the surrounding 100-mile radius. So a lot of great markets in Florida. And Texas, of course, my main area in Texas is San Antonio, Texas, where there are 3 major military bases: Fort Sam Houston, Kelly Air Force Base, and Lackland Air Force Base. As a matter of fact, I was stationed in Fort Sam Houston back in 1984 to 1985 when I was in active duty back in those days. So I know the area very well. And San Antonio have, I think, the second largest military population in the country, other than San Diego, I believe, the naval base. Anyway, so yeah, those are my top 2. And the secondary market where you should consider purchasing via foreclosures are in Georgia, Virginia, Norfolk U.S. Naval Base, Newport News, Virginia Beach, Tennessee, U.S. Army Fort Campbell, home of the 101st Airborne Division, which coincidentally I was stationed there as well back in 1981 to 82, right? So that area is gold. So Clarksville, Tennessee is a good place to buy foreclosed VA properties for cash flow and long-term appreciation. North Carolina, of course, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Marine Corps Camp Lejeune, and U.S. Army Fort Bragg, home of the 82nd Airborne Division, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, are also a very good secondary market to purchase investment via foreclosures. And the other areas are Atlanta, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, but not in California for obvious reasons, right? The prices are too high, and you're not going to cash flow because the rent are not going to match your payments. So I'm not going to talk about California because that's not a good area to purchase via foreclosure. Okay, I'm sure all of you agree. So this was just a small sample, and there are more areas, there are more pockets in the U.S. where you can buy foreclosed properties with 5% down. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I will disclose those information if you and I were to work with each other one-on-one. Then we will get into more details about various areas to buy other than the areas I just mentioned. Okay, let's continue. So obviously you must be pre-qualified by a VA Vendy financing. They call it Vendy financing. You have to find a lender in order to get pre-qualified, which I have access, obviously. So you can go through me. Expect multiple offers for some choice via foreclosure properties in those hot markets. So be prepared to pull the trigger, right? So you gotta be on top of everything. And let's go over the highlight of the program just to dispel any misconception. So it is a minimum 5% down payment for real estate investors, okay? And of course, typically to buy investment property, you need 20 to 25% down payment or higher. But one of the great benefit is all you need is 5%, okay? And if you buy the right property, you can still cash flow on a monthly basis. And the interest rate on this investment loan with a VA loan is only 4.5% currently, which is a lot lower than a regular investment loan, which is typically right now 5.5 or even 5.7%. So your payments will be lower and therefore allow you a better opportunity to achieve better cash flow, right? So very good loan as well. So you do not have to be a veteran to buy, right? One of the greatest misconceptions. You could be anybody as long as you qualify for the to get approval for the mortgage. And as long as you have the down payment, obviously you have a good full loan documentation, good FICO score, good job security, good salary, all those kind of things. Again, you do not have to be a veteran, or although a veteran can buy just like anybody else. Okay, so there's a tremendous benefit. So it opened up a lot of opportunities for people out there. So also there's no limit as to how many VA foreclosure property you want to buy, or whatever. If you own a lot of investment properties already, there's no limitation like you do with the Fannie Mae lending guideline, which only allows for 10 mortgages per person. And then beyond the 10 mortgages, you cannot qualify for the Fannie Mae conventional lending guideline for investors. But in this case, with the VA foreclosures, there's unlimited opportunity. Okay, so because of 5% down, and you have to pay the rehab costs, right? So, many of the properties may require some cosmetic repairs, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. If anything more than that, the major fixer-upper, I would not recommend buying a VA foreclosures with that scenario. So 5% down on $150,000 property. Less than 10 grand up front, plus 5 or 10 grand for rehab costs, total around 10 to 15 grand, depending on the purchase price of the property and the location. So still a great deal, a screaming deal. No prepayment penalties, no appraisal fees, right? And no PMI, no private mortgage insurance. Typically, when you buy a property with less than 20% as an investor, you have to pay a monthly private mortgage insurance. In this case, with 5% down, we're using VA loan venti financing. You are not required to put the extra monthly private mortgage insurance. Okay, and the VA may pay some part of your closing costs, I'm not sure. So again, as I mentioned, no maximum number of VA foreclosures you can buy. You can buy as many as you have the money for. So for those of you who are very ambitious, for those of you that have a fair amount of cash available to get 5% down payment, buy as many as you have the courage to do so. Okay, so perfect for investors who already max out with the Fannie Mae lending guideline or other lending limitations. You're not going to have those limitations associated with VA loan financing. Okay, so these kind of properties are not turnkey properties, although my business model is such that most of our market that we represent are all turnkey. That means all rehab costs, everything rolled into the price, selling price, and the tenant already in place, all those kind of things, turnkey. But VA foreclosures are not turnkey. You have to find the tenant. You have to find a property manager in a local area to work with you. You have to fix up the cost with your out-of-pocket rehab costs in addition to the 5% down payment, right? So I just want to make that very, very clear. But at the end of the day, it's still a screaming deal, right? That's obvious. But so therefore, you have to conduct some additional research because there are many markets that you have to consider. And each market, each property, you have to do some additional research and due diligence, just like buying any rental properties out there, right? And with the VA foreclosures, there are not that many foreclosures, right? Available in each market. So inventories are very limited. The foreclosures are sell very quickly because you're competing against potentially other very savvy investors who understand this program that its availability. Okay, so most of the time when you buy via foreclosures, in a way that I'm teaching you is a long-term buy and hold, right? You buy for cash flow and long-term appreciation. But some of the properties you can do a short-term flip as well, 1 or 2 years hold and then flip it. Okay, so we'll talk more about that on a one-on-one basis. So again, Venti financing. This program again is just has come back to us, but how long it's going to be around? How much longer? I don't know. Maybe 2 years, hopefully 3. But it's a small window of opportunity, so do not procrastinate. Okay, so and there's only one lender that doing Venti financing. Of course, I know who they are. If you're in part of my program, then I will disclose all that to you, and we have all the resources and the system and a team in place to make it very successful. But this VA loan program requires more effort on our part. So here are some of the conditions, right? Unprecedented opportunity to buy investment properties with a low down payment, but will require more time and effort from all involved. We will work as a team. So for those of you who are interested, we will charge at this particular moment. The fee could be changed, probably more down the road actually. Right now it's a $1,997 upfront fee to work with us. Okay, so therefore, obviously, ideally you need to be savvy. You need to have experience as a listed investor, that you're serious, that you're committed, okay, to enter this program. But of course, newbies are welcome as long as you pay us the fee upfront, and otherwise financially you are qualified. Then we are also willing to work with newbies, inexperienced investors, as long as you meet you know the motivation aspects of it, and then you are willing to pay up the fee before we move further. Okay, and the only exception on about the fee are if the investors that have already purchased recently from our Yee Real Estate Network properties, you can enter this program and we are not going to charge you the upfront fee. All right, so additional recap is again, you have to the expectations are uh, uh, you need to be ambitious, obviously, right? You need to be a highly motivated individual to make this happen. I hope so. I mean, so buy until you drop, right? That's so buy multiple VA foreclosure properties across the country with at least 5% down. Leverage your money, it result in much higher returns, obviously, leveraging. Diversify your real estate portfolio across geographic regions and asset allocation using real estate, and retire rich using OPM, other people's money, right? You're only risking 5% of your money, and the lender, the mortgage company is risking 95% of the purchase price. Is that amazing? So that's pretty much it. I have to say, yeah. So that pretty much conclude this presentation. But I do want to share something with you in addition to this. Uh, so what I want to do is I want to find the properties that are available as we speak. Just give me a minute. Okay, I'm gonna pick out several properties. Okay, on what's possible out there. So this is a map showing available listings on the VA foreclosure properties. Let me pick a couple of areas, Florida, for example, which I really like. So property over here potentially can be bid, is available for Venti financing, 5% down in Tampa, $109,000. So that could be a cash flow property. A property here in Kissimmee, Florida, right below Orlando, for a mere 127,000. So this property may work well. So even over here in Orlando, this property a little bit above the price that we want, but this could be a flipping opportunity for the next 1 or 2 years. You buy with a low down payment, 5%, then you fix it up. Then perhaps you can resell it to a owner-occupied buyer down the road in the next 12 to 24 months, maybe. and you can make a profit out of it. So yeah, so you can do long-term and short-term flip as well, but mostly long-term. Okay, this is just a sample of property that are listed, on a day-to-day basis. This listing available for you. So sort of that's pretty much it, right? So there's a lot of details I don't have time to talk about, but if you're in our program, then you're in a good situation. So other than that, thank you for listening. And the next step is contact me, and we could I'll work with you one-on-one to see whether you're willing to participate in this program. Thank you so much. This is a great opportunity to use another means to create wealth and passive income, and go through my system and go through my guidance and mentorship and coaching, and you will be potentially become very successful. Thank you so much. This is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.